Hey, people. Everybody out there seems to be doing a podcast lately. So I thought I would join the podcast group just for one day. I don't expect anybody to listen to this, but that's okay. Venting is really good, and that's what I do best when I have my camera on. So, what's going on in my life? That's what this video is going to be about. I don't know what I'm going to put for the video, but you got the audio. So, what's going on right now? Today's Tuesday. Monday, a family friend. There was a funeral for a family friend who passed away on Friday. So that's what's going on right now. Funeral Monday. Friday he passed away. And I found out right before his funeral that when my dad passed many years ago, it was during the holiday. There was nobody available to do a funeral service, and we didn't really want to do it at the cemetery, so we did it in the house with just a small group of immediate friends and family. Very small group. And the person who passed away Friday was the one who officiated and did the service at my mom's house because there was nobody available to do it. So I just found that out, and that's what I'm dealing with now. What else is going on? Yesterday, Monday, I found out that somebody that I have known forever, and I mean forever, I've known her a long time. She told me that she will be moving within 6 weeks. So we've had an up and down friendship, I guess you could call it that. A long, long time ago, she told me that she had some attraction to me. And I probably always had some attraction to her. And our friendship, whatever you could call it, has been stressed out, intense, and not really the best. But we've always been there in each other's lives, even though we weren't there in each other's lives. And she always knew she could come to me. And it seemed recently that she always wanted to know that she could turn to me if she needed it, and she knew that she could. But I think it's just a lifetime of knowing each other that could have been something really cool. I just look at all the years that we've known each other and think, what a waste of all that time that we are such incredibly good, close friends. But that's how it is. So I found out that she is leaving, and I will probably never see her again after she leaves. So that's one thing I'm dealing with. And the family friend that passed, not like I was really close with them, but I did have lunch with them a few times. They were family friends, probably knew me since I was born or a little bit after. So that's a kind of like a connection that is gone now. And that's what this podcast is going to be about, because I'm looking at a list of what else has gone on. So she's out of my life after 30 years. Let's talk about life. Life is incredible because she kind of didn't really know where she was going in life, and she was trying to find her way, and she ends up meeting somebody, and next thing you know, she's got kids, and she's pregnant, and then she's pregnant, and then she gets engaged, whatever it is. Okay. So, and I just look at the whole thing from an outside viewer thinking, had you never met this person, you wouldn't be married, obviously. You wouldn't be thinking about kids. You would be thinking about your life, where you're going with it. And I think the possibilities would have been endless and incredible for her. But I also see, and I know she's happy with the marriage, but I also see, wow, you meet someone and your whole life changes completely. Instead of going maybe where you were meant to go, if that is not where she is now, maybe you wouldn't be married, maybe you wouldn't have kids, and maybe your life would be totally different, and you just don't know. So I'm looking at what's going on with her now thinking, I know you're happy. I think you're happy that you've got the kids and you've got the husband and the marriage, and you're packing your bags and you're walking away from everything that you knew and grew up with. But that's how life is sometimes. Okay, so what else is going on? 2 weeks ago, my neighbor that I've known for 12 years, there's a lot of neighbors in this thing, neighbor I've known for 12 years, probably about a few months ago, he told me, he says, remember when we had this talk And I said, yeah. He says, well, I really am getting up in age. I really can't move around much anymore. I'm kind of scared. And I'm going to be packing up and moving to where my son lives, where my sons live, and I'm not going to be here much longer. So, and he had health problems, and he had a bad back, and he had sciatic problems, and I offered to help him get the place ready to pack up, and he didn't take me up on that offer till a week before when the pod showed up and his back was out, and I said, hey, I'll help you move. I'll help you pack up the pod. Well, he couldn't move, so I packed up the pod. Had a little bit of help from his 80-something-year-old brother, but I did pack up the pod. So that's what's been going on. Another neighbor, I wasn't close with her at all. Knew about her, talked to her a couple years ago. She told me she had brain cancer, and so I started bringing her packages to her door because I felt bad for her until I started seeing her driving around and going, and I thought, wait, I thought you had brain cancer, but you're living your life, and I wouldn't know. So I stopped bringing all those packages up. She died 2 months ago. So, not that that's an emotional draw on me, but, I mean, the coroner was over here, the cops were over here. And, it messes with your head. You got a neighbor who just passed, who you've talked to, you've known. You got another neighbor that is packing up and leaving after 12 years because they're too old. This other neighbor that's packing up after knowing her forever, and then this family friend that died on Friday. Okay, so what else is there? Another neighbor I have known for over... Okay, then we have another neighbor. Another neighbor that I grew up down the street from. Was a little kid, and she lived down the street, and I've known her forever. I mean, I have known her for over half my life. On and off, we talked, we didn't talk. I was in her life, I wasn't. I was friends with her children when we were younger, and then I wasn't friends, and then I was friends, and then I wasn't. And so in January, she had a medical thing that happened. Well, let's go before that. Probably 5 years before that, maybe a little bit longer, her husband passed, and the kids got a hold of me that I hadn't talked to in years, and they said, hey, we want to be friends, we want to talk to you. Can you put out the trash cans for our mom? Can you go over there? And, well, that became putting out the trash cans every week, bringing in the trash cans every week, sometimes bringing food to her, visiting her a lot, telling her she needed to eat, bringing her lots of Costco meals, doing some repair work at the house, being there when she had handymen there and she didn't feel safe. A lot of time went into it, and I was not a caregiver. She told me, she says, hey, I would not have been in this house for all these years if not for you. She also had one of her kids coming in town every couple of weeks, but without me, it made a big difference because there was somebody who was there for her. They could call up and say, we don't know if mom is still okay. Can you go over there and knock on the door and make sure she's all right? So I did that for about 5 years. Compensation? Not really. I wasn't compensated. I should have been. I should have definitely been, but I wasn't. And, that's just how it goes. I did it because I wanted to. I did it because that's the kind of person I am. Just like the kind of person who helped that neighbor a few weeks ago pack up his pod and get out of here. So earlier in the year, she had a mishap, a medical thing, ended up going to the ER. Lucky that they, I don't want to go into details, but it's lucky that she survived it. I went to the ER, went to a rehab place for a while, and some people in the family wanted to put her in assisted living. And one of the kids didn't want that assisted living, and the other kids wanted the assisted living. They didn't want that one child who was watching out for mom and visiting her every 2 weeks. They didn't want him to have all that control, and this was the opportunity to take it from him. And they say they were worried about the mom and they wanted to make sure she was okay. But, there's a lot of things that I'll just leave that alone. So, after that whole thing happened, she's in assisted living and everything should have been left alone. She's alive. Life is going on. But those two people wanted to sell the house. First, they wanted to rent the house. The other kids said, no, 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 leave the house alone. And then the two people said, no, you can't rent it. You gotta sell it. And they ended up spending a fortune of mom's money fixing up the house and putting it up for sale. And all of her possessions were either sold or thrown in the garbage. And it pretty much destroyed the family. And I told them it was going to destroy the family. And they went, yeah, sure. Stay out of it. It's not your problem. Leave us alone. We know what you're doing. You don't. So now they're never going to be a really close family again at all. So they decided they're going to sell the house, and the person who made the decision doesn't live in the state, did a little bit of work, and then said, I'm not coming back here. I'm out of here. The other kid can take care of it. And that other kid said, you started this. You finish it. I'm not taking care of it. And then the other person said, I'm coming over to get the possessions that I want. I want to get stuff to donate. I want to take some things that are important for the family. And the whole thing just became an absolute nightmare. Trusts are important. Wills are important. If the will and trust had been done properly, like it was supposed to have been done before the medical problem happened, the house would have gone to the one person and they would have made the decisions. But because it was split up with all the kids, it was a big battle, power of attorneys, and the house was going to be sold against the will of one of the kids. So nobody wanted to come out and finish it off the job. And I hey, I got the keys. They gave me the keys to the house, gave me the garage remote. I went over there, and not my problem, not my house, not my family. And I went in there and I emptied out all the kitchen cabinets, all the stuff that was in the kitchen cabinets, all the stuff in the laundry room cabinets. Took me weeks. There was so much stuff that had to get thrown out because I wasn't going to take it and donate it. Not my problem. I'm not going to take somebody's stuff that's 60 years old, 50, 40. I'm not going to take all this old stuff and take it over to Goodwill. They don't want this stuff. They're going to throw it in the trash. And I could only fill up so many city trash cans a week, all the way to the top. So it took me about a month, got the whole place cleaned up, ready to be listed. And I'm like, well, hey, I put all this time in here. I'm just not going to come to the house anymore. I'm done. You guys are on your own. And I'm like, oh, we didn't mean to upset you. You're not upset, are you? Give me your address. We want to send you some money to thank you. So they did send me money. It was a good amount of money, but I also put in a massive amount of time, and all of them should have been there pitching in, and the house never should have been sold. So the house was listed on the market for less than a couple of weeks. The one that wanted to sell the house got a realtor that I wouldn't say was the best. He wanted to get his commission. He didn't really care how much he sold it for, and he lowballed it. They only got 2 offers. They sold it to one. That's going to be listed. That's going to be closing escrow soon. So what do we have here? We got the person that's moving out and leaving town that I've known forever. We got the guy that died on Friday. We got the neighbor that moved out. We got the neighbor that passed away. We got the neighbor that I've known for forever, since I was a kid, who is now in assisted living. And I just decided, I've known you for all these years, but maybe it's best if I don't call and keep in touch at this point. So I'm dealing with that. What else do we have? Well, I got another neighbor. Died 2 years ago. Probably 2, maybe 3 years ago. That neighbor was very sick. His wife took care of him. He was a smoker. He smoked cigars all the time. And he was married, and he got some type of blood cancer. And she took care of him, got him to the doctors, got him treated. And he was well. He was 100% well. And right after he got his diagnosis that he was well, she comes down with cancer. Lung cancer from living in the house with him and him smoking his cigars all those years. She comes down with lung cancer that goes to the brain, and she's gone. And then he's living by himself. And over over the next year or so. It's doctor's appointments. His stuff came back. He had aging problems. He was a cop, used to be a cop, aging problems and health problems, and he started getting very sick. And I was letting the fire department into the place, getting them out of the property, using the remote to get them over here, guiding them to his door. One time his daughter said, he's on the floor. He's been on the floor all night long. We don't know when he fell out of bed, and we need you to help get him up. And I did, and then I threw out my back for about 2 months because of doing that. So that neighbor's gone, and then his wife is gone. Okay, what else do we have? Let's go back a little further. Probably not even last year. We got another family friend. In fact, the family friend that passed on Friday, his daughter fell last year and never got up from the ground. I believe hit her head, and that was that. So we've got that funeral. We've got, wow, it's not even 6 months ago, there was somebody else. She had a stroke, and she passed a week later. So there was that funeral. God, I'm just thinking about all of this now. The list is unbelievable. There's another person. He was a doctor. He passed away, I believe it was last year. And earlier in the year, or maybe a little bit before, his wife passed away. So there's that person. And then there is, God, it's unbelievable now that my memory's coming back to me. There's another person, another woman, pretty old in age, said, I got cancer. They want to treat it. And I'm thinking, at your age, why are they going to treat it? Why would they put you through that? Well, she didn't last more than about a month or two. She passed. I think her husband is still alive. Haven't heard about that since. Okay, I covered the doctor and his wife. And then there was the person who I just said had a stroke. Her husband died about a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, 3 years ago. It's one thing after another. And on top of that, the person who I said told me yesterday that she is leaving. Her mom died about a year and a half ago. And that was just a major shock. I remember, hadn't talked to them for a long time, a lot of tension between, I'm not going to go into details why, but hadn't talked to her for a long time. And suddenly I start getting text message and I like, who is this? Who are you? And I went, oh, and I'm wondering, why in the world is she contacting me? Why is she writing to me? And then she said, I'm sick. And she had cancer. And I don't know if she just wanted to go out on good terms with me, or if she wanted to know that I'd be there for her child when she was gone, in case she needed anything, or she just wanted to have some peace. And then all of a sudden, the person who's moving out, in another 6 weeks, she starts texting me and writing to me, and I could tell things were not good. The woman's texting me saying, I can't eat, I would bring her food. I brought some Chinese food over there a few times, some snacks, and she would just say thank you. I could barely get the soup down, and I knew she was in big trouble. But she was reaching out to me. We were talking about trusts and wills and what she needed to do to make sure the house was going to go to her child. And she says, I have so much to live for, and I really want to live. I'm going to fight to live. And a week later, I saw a car pull up in front of the house. Doctors came out and nurses came out, and I went, this is not good. I know what this is. And then I think it was that night. Was it that? I believe it was that night, maybe about 1, 2 in the morning. A vehicle pulled up in front of the house and then backed up in the driveway. And then I saw them carry something out. I knew it was her. And about 6 in the morning, I get a text message from the person who hadn't talked to me in years saying, I don't know if you know what was going on last night, but my mom passed, and I knew. And so I just thought, okay, so we're going to be in touch. We're going to be closer friends. Things are going to be okay. And then, of course, the little tension and the stress and the drama, and we don't talk again, and then on and on. Well, we just started talking again a couple weeks ago. Everything seemed really cool. And all of a sudden, she's packing up and leaving. So it's just been nothing but nonstop. In fact, there's another person I left out because the list just keeps going on and on. Another person who, right when COVID started, she went into She had some medical problems, went to rehab, and then ended up in an assisted living, and then she got COVID, and she was gone. And I talked to her son a couple days ago, and he had I think he's had a couple heart attacks, 2 or 3 heart attacks, and he's very ill right now. So what's this all about? And then I'm talking with my mom. My mom's saying, I'm not going to be here forever, and you got to get used to this. You got to accept it. And I'm thinking, I said, well, what's there to accept? What's there to think about? It's not like you can plan for when somebody's not going to be here. When they're not here, you deal with it, and it hits you hard. And obviously, I know one of these days I'm going to go over there, and it's not going to be a good situation. So, and then on top of that, there's dealing with the trust and the will and the property and the clearing out the house and the family battles and the siblings, and it just goes on and on. I can tell you from talking to all these people, dealing with all this stuff, the most important thing that you can do if you have kids is make sure that will and trust is written so well that there can't be battles, and there will be battles, so you really have to make a decision, and you're going to change your trust and will over and over the older you get. You're going to have one child who has a lot of money who's not there for you, one child who doesn't have a lot of money who's not there for you, one child who doesn't care about money who's there for you, one child who isn't there for you but wants all your money, wants the property, wants to take everything from the siblings, the fights, the battles, all right, she's gone, let's sell the house, like that situation I just told you about. No, let's rent the house out. No, I want to keep the house. Oh, I can't keep the house because you just did a legal maneuver and sold it out from under me after throwing everything out or taking it out of the house. So that goes on with every family. Every person I've talked to has told me, almost every person I've talked to has told me they've dealt with that or they know that's going to happen. So, and you just get to a point where you don't really have to leave everything for everybody. You don't have to split it up equally. You split it up the way it should be split up, unless you feel guilty. That's the situation with that other neighbor. She felt guilty. She was not really happy with 2 of her kids. She wanted the property to go to the one kid that took care of her, and in the end, she got sick, couldn't change the trust and the will, and ended up saying, oh, I love all my kids equally, and they should all get to keep everything and split it evenly, and the one person that helped her out all those years doesn't talk to her now, doesn't talk to the siblings, got screwed out from the house, got screwed out from the money, and it's just a nightmare. So, why am I putting this on the internet? I was talking to somebody and they said, oh, you really need to, this is dangerous. In fact, the message is in front of me. Find a group of some kind and join. I'm thinking, what? Why do I need to find a group of strangers and join them? Hobby, support groups, something. Continual losses cause stress. Stress aggravates poor health and illness. Now, I'm the first one to know. Stress will, like it did with that neighbor. She took care of her husband and then boom, he's gone. Stress will do a number on you. Stress can make you very sick and destroy your life. But so can other things. So I don't need to join a group. I've got so many hobbies, I can't even keep up with the hobbies. I just spent the last 2 weeks trying to understand miter saws, 60-degree cuts, 30-degree cuts. Why when you cut a 30-degree cut is it a 60-degree? Why when you cut a 60-degree cut is it a 30-degree? Obtuse angles, acute angles. I'm so confused and lost. So I've got all the hobbies. I've got the guitar. I've got everything I need. I'm busy. I'm taking care of my mom. I'm taking care of the money, taking care of the bills, taking care of the finances, taking care of the honey, taking care of the house maintenance, trying to make sure that she's at her doctor's appointments, that she's taking the pills when she isn't, that she... it's a nonstop, so I'm busy. I'm doing a lot of stuff. I'm helping out. I'm helping way too many people. More than happy to help my mom. Glad to help my mom. That's not a problem. The neighbors, more than happy to help the neighbors. I should not have been helping the neighbors. Not my family, not my problem. Should not have been involved, but that's who I am, and that's what I do. And I guess it comes back in good things because I have a fairly decent life and I'm happy and I'm successful and I don't have a lot of worries except all the worries of the problems that everybody brings me. So overall, things are good and I'm happy. So what's the point of the video? What's the point of the blog? What's the point of the podcast? There is no point. I'm just talking about life. We're all going through a lot of stuff. It's unbelievable how in the last 2 years, ever since COVID started, the amount of deaths I've seen is unbelievable. And it's not all from COVID. It's also from a lot of people I know that are aging and health problems. You go in a store, I go in a store and it's empty. I drive down the street. One side of the street is empty. I get on the freeway, it's empty. The next day it's bumper to bumper and people are angry and they're tailgating. The next day it's empty and people are doing 80 miles an hour and cutting people off because they want to. I drive down the local streets and I see business people and mothers and grandmothers getting to the stop sign and pressing the gas and running the stop sign because they can get away with it and they don't care. I see massive amount of crime on the news. They don't care. They're not going to jail. They're not going to prison. They're not going to have to do bail. There's no responsibility. Nobody cares. People are angry. People are miserable. People are hurting. People are sad. People are scared. People are moving. People are running from their problems. And what can you say? We're living in some very scary, strange times. And then you look at the situation in the world where half the people say, I want to wear a mask, it's going to protect me, it's going to save my life, and the other, let's say more than that, and the other people are saying it's all a hoax, I don't believe in any of this. Some people are saying the election is legit, everything was counted right, and you've got other people that see the facts that they know the election was legit, and they're saying, I don't believe it because I'm a conspiracy theorist, and I just don't believe it. You got the news. It's crime and shootings and fighting and spousal problems, domestic violence, physical violence. It's crazy out there. It's scary out there. You have got businesses that can't keep people employed because the people say, I don't want to work anymore. Life means more to me. I don't care about a paycheck. And the frightening thing is these people are serious. They don't care about a paycheck. They don't care about a job. They want to do what they want to do. And the thing they're not thinking about is if you don't get in that amount of time, you're not getting Social Security, you're going to be in big trouble when you get a little bit older. There's only so many years to get that working time in before you don't get Social Security. There is only so much time to put that money in the 401k or the retirement fund before you're 70 years old and you're working a job as a door greeter because you don't have any savings. There are people, you hear it in the news all the time, the majority of the people in this country, if their car broke down and they got a $400 bill, they don't have the cash to pay for it, which is interesting that they don't have the cash to pay for it, but they'll come up with that $1,200 to buy an iPhone 11. They don't have the cash to pay their rent, but they'll go out and see a movie or go they'll buy whatever they want. They'll go travel wherever they want. They're on the planes. They're going everywhere, but they can't pay the rent. The cities are paying people's rent. They're giving discounts on utilities, on their gas. They don't even care anymore. They just say, if you can't afford the gas bill, just tell us and we'll take your word for it. We'll cut your gas bill. We'll cut your power bill. We'll pay for your rent. Not everybody. A lot of people are getting a freebie. Me, I'm not getting a freebie. I'm paying the taxes up the kazoogle. And I'm getting no compensation checks for the city or the state. And the people that don't want to work, that say, I'm just going to sit at home and do nothing, they're the ones that are getting these checks. I've got a neighbor, speaking of neighbors, I have a neighbor, hasn't worked in 2 years. She rents out a couple rooms in her place now. She doesn't work. She doesn't have a car. She's getting compensation for her payments, her mortgage payments. I don't know if they know that she's renting out, but she's getting compensation for her payments. She's getting compensation for her gas and her utility bills. And she has no reason to ever go back to a job because everybody's doing these payments for doing nothing. You can't get a car because there's no parts. There's a chip. You can't get the chip in the car. You can't sell the cars. Nobody wants to work. Nobody wants to work in the factories. I can't believe that everybody's at home sick. The whole world's not at home sick. Did everybody just decide I'm going to quit? I'm never going back to work? The factories are closed. The factories in other countries are closed. What is going on? So that's what's going on in our lives right now. That's what's going on in my life. Pandemic, I actually loved when everything was closed. I like going to the store and seeing it empty. I like the parking lots empty. I like no traffic on the street. I loved it. I love the peace of all of it. And now that that's over, there is so much stress and tension out there, and you don't know who's going to pull up next to your car, and who knows what they're going to do, or if they're going to run you over or knock you into a wall. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if that 70-year-old grandma is going to run that stop sign, ram into you, and take off because she doesn't think she'll get caught. And then on top of that, all these people that we know are stressed out. They either can't afford where they're living now, and they're packing up, they're moving, they want to get away from family, they want to get away from their job, they want to get away from bad memories. And you got a lot of people that are elderly that are not surviving now, or they're just too old and they're gone. And I don't know. So that's what's going on in my life when I'm not out there shooting vids. And I love to shoot videos of plane spotting and my reviews. I love it. I enjoy it. It's good for me. I also practice my guitar. Take care of all these people that I mentioned, always over there taking care of my mom. And what else? And my hobbies, and my big hobbies. So a lot goes on in my life. A lot of happiness, a lot of naps, a lot of everything's hectic, a lot of stress. But I think I handle the stress well because I'm very lucky and I'm very fortunate. And I've got so much, things are much better for me than they are for everyone out there. So why did I do this video? Just a way to vent. When she told me she was packing up and she was going to be gone in 6 weeks, broke my heart. Not in love with her. She's somebody else's wife, but I've known her forever. And I just thought, wow, this is a major life moment. All these people that I know are passing away. And like I told you, that neighbor that I've known since I was a little kid, gone. And this person who just died over the weekend knew me since I was a little kid, gone. And a majority of the other deaths that I mentioned, they either knew me since I was very young, or they were neighbors that were really close around here, and I either helped them out or watched out for them or did things for them, and they're gone. And then I've got this beautiful woman who massive amounts of tension between the two of us for years and years and years. And you know, you see them and you go, oh boy, not this. Stay away, avoid the tension, avoid the problems, not worth it. And then they tell you, by the way, I'm out of here in 6 weeks. You're not going to see me anymore. You're not going to see my car. You're not going to see me walking outside. You're not going to be able to. I'm gone. I'm leaving. I'm out of your life. And yeah, I'll be able to see the messages on the internet, and I'll probably get, maybe I'll get occasional messages, but I'm also going to be 3,000 miles away from them. And you really, they're going on with their life somewhere else. And that's a big shocker. So I guess the video is kind of in honor of her, because I'm going to miss her, that she's leaving. And I even told her that. I said, I'm going to miss you. She says, hey, it's not like I'm dying. And I said, you're leaving. You're gone. And that's just part of life, part of how it goes. Kind of like the person who just went into assisted living a couple months ago. She's gone, and I pretty much cut off the communication with her. And the kids that sold the house, not really talking as much when I was clearing out the house and doing all the stuff for them. Lots of messages, lots of phone calls, lots of, we need you to do this, we're there for you. And all of a sudden, after that house is sold, there's really no reason to be in touch with me much, because I probably will never see any of them again. So I think that's what the video is about. The podcast. All these people in my life in the last 2 years that I will never hear from again. I will never see again. I will not have a close relationship or friendship with them again. They're gone. It is just over. And I guess that's the same when you're growing up. You go to college, you move, and you leave a group of people and you start off with another group of people. But, you know, life is kind of strange that way. And that's what's going on with me right now. So I thought I'd post that on a video. Get it out there, vent a little bit. Post this in honor of her. My honest thoughts. Cut. My honest thoughts. I think she would have been much better off had she never met this person. I think her life, she would have grown a lot better had she been on her own. Had she not had kids, she would have to kind of grow up a little bit and take care of herself. But by having getting married, she had somebody to lean on, and it's a big support thing. Not financial, it's an emotional support thing, saying I couldn't survive without you. And the kids, instead of having now she's got direction because she takes the kids places, takes them here, there, has to feed them, that's her life. Her life one day was focus on yourself and be better. And through the miracle of attraction, all of the stuff to make herself better disappeared because now it is about the family. So I'm glad that she's happy. I'm glad that she's got the family. I'm glad she's got her marriage and her kids. And I look at it from a side view and outside view thinking you would have been so much better off. Your life would have been so much better for you had you had to stand on your own 2 feet and deal with all of this and then figure out what you were going to do. So, but not my problem, not my life, not my family. And what else can I say, people? Life is kind of wacky out there right now. You got to stay healthy. You got to stay fit, which I need to get back to. You got to take care of your health. You got to take care of your mind. And it's a roller coaster out there of people going in and out of everybody's life, whether it's from moving or quitting jobs or family problems or health problems or who knows what. So I think I've talked enough. I got to do 3 edits on this video where I coughed. And I think that's it. Like the thing says, leave me alone. I'm only speaking to my dog today. Stay well. Thanks for watching my videos. If anybody got to the end of this, and I doubt you did, this has been my first podcast this year. I've done other videos before where I talked, and nobody listened to them. Nobody cared, and I don't expect anybody. I'll probably get 1 view out of this thing, and somebody will listen for 30 seconds. I'll get the info from YouTube. Duration 58 seconds. Nobody else listened. Nobody stayed for more than a minute, and I'll get a whole bunch of likes saying, great job. And I know you didn't listen to it, so it's all right. Hey, to the person who's packing up and leaving in a couple weeks, I'm going to miss you. I love you. As I told you, I made a promise to that person that I'd be there for you in your life because they couldn't. And I told you that last night. And I know you're moving, and I guess I kept my part of the deal, that I'd be there for you. And I even told you, if things don't work out when you're out there and you end up coming back out here, I'll be there for you as long as I'm on this earth. I don't expect that to happen. And when you're out of here, life goes on. You stay well, you stay healthy, you take care of yourself. And I think I'm going to end this thing now and do some posting. Hey. Thanks for watching, people, or listening, or whatever this turns out to be. Let me go find the stop button and click off on the audio. I hope this came out. Is this still recording? Oh, my God, no.